Yeah, you even have a Godzilla plushie. You
I
brought
do have. I brought it to the
you
movie
brought it to
with
the
me.
movies
Yeah.
with us. Yeah,
hmm
he watched his own movie.
Yeah. He was all like, Scream! But very, very tiny
It's so
because there were other
cute.
people in the movie.
So we recently watched the new Godzilla movie. Um, Godzilla
Godzilla 2, King of the
King of
Monsters.
Monsters. Yeah, exactly.
King
So
of the
of
Monsters.
the monsters,
hmm
the Hollywood. Is it called? Is it considered a blockbuster? Probably.
I would say so.
I
I
don't.
mean, it's not that I don't think it made a huge impact on box office. I don't know.
Probably. I'm not sure. Like it's
Not huge.
just.
No, not huge for sure. It didn't blow up.
Yeah, it didn't blow up like Infinity War or Endgame, but yeah,
Or Avatar, that's what you want to say.
yeah, exactly. um, the thing is, one of the big things that I think separates you from me is that you are a huge Godzilla nerd.
Not a huge
Um,
Godzilla nerd. I like kaijus. I mean, who doesn't like dinosaurs, right? Um,
I mean, yeah, I like dinosaurs. That's true.
yeah. So, I mean, the only difference is I've watched some of the movies. There's almost 60 years of
There's a.
movies and uh, more than
It's
30 movies.
yeah, like I can't
It's a
believe
lot
that.
of
Like,
things.
holy crap, Japan really loves Godzilla. Like,
Yeah.
how many
Yeah.
movies
It's
has
not
how many movies has
okay.
America done?
Three.
Okay, how
All
many?
the other ones are they made 98 Godzilla,
Okay,
which was that weird lizard thing that was roaming around New York. Then there's the new Legendary movies
yeah,
set on
yeah.
the MonsterVerse, which is something that Legendary is apparently trying to set up. A shared universe where they're going to bring to life a lot of monsters from Toho, the
Hmm.
original series from Godzilla.
Okay.
And on the first one, we saw the only familiar face we have is Godzilla, and the Mutos are just created for the purpose of the movie and for Godzilla to have an opponent to see how the crowd would react to having a new Godzilla. And apparently, it was amazing because the I remember the campaign for the movie was great.
Mm.
None of the shots where you saw Godzilla actually appeared in the movie. He seemed the antagonist on the trailers and a hero in the movies.
Okay.
And yeah, they made Kong Skull Island, which is also set on this universe. It's a prequel to it, not the prequel, but set before all of these.
Okay.
And now Godzilla 2, King of the Monsters, which was
Hmm.
cool as hell.
Yeah. I enjoyed the movie because it's basically giant monsters fighting. I mean, who doesn't like that? It's
Yeah,
just it's such an iconic thing of I don't know. I guess I remember from my childhood just like um watching some movies that had like giant battles and even just
even just dinosaurs in general. Yeah, we're all fans of Jurassic Park. Am I right?
yeah, yeah, exactly. But the thing with these because Godzilla is a giant monster. Like it's probably one of the largest creatures that has ever been in fiction, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
But
in
there's always a bigger fish, and
yeah,
yeah,
I know, but like in recent movies, I think Godzilla being the being like a title character or
mm-hmm.
a main monster is probably like the largest one in the past what 10 years, 20 years maybe. I don't know.
For being a title character in the movie, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
He's bigger than all other depictions. I mean, he's even bigger in the second one than all of the depictions of Godzilla at the time, aside from Netflix. But we're not gonna go into those.
Hmm. Okay. So can I just say my thoughts on the movie? Okay. So
Go ahead.
uh, this is
Just before
probably
that, you did watch the first one.
no.
No, okay, go ahead.
I
It's
did not
okay.
watch the first one.
It's cool. There's not much to know.
I watched the original King Kong. I guess that's the only technically kaiju movie that I watched, I think, before this one.
Hmm.
Of course, the first King Kong is like
Like the original King Kong or the one with like Peter Jackson's King Kong?
no, I mean the original
Okay,
stop
okay, okay.
motion King Kong. And I
Hmm.
I liked that movie. Like it was actually kind of emotional. Like it was not it was I guess it was kind of different from what I was expecting from that movie, I guess.
Hmm.
This movie, I guess it gave me kind of that similar feeling because it's the structure of the movie is, or should I say the setting is basically the same. It's a giant monster that um, fights other giant monsters. Um, but the thing with this movie, and I guess it's just because of the special effects, maybe. Um, I felt that the monsters they didn't really they kind of looked like action figures. They didn't like I didn't feel like they were actually like real beings that could exist in the physical world. And this is kind of my critique on the movie is I'm not sure if it's the animation or the visuals. I mean, I really like the special effects are great, but just the design, I guess, or
Hmm.
the way how they move, it did not feel big enough in my opinion. Like if
Really?
it felt like I was watching two different um I guess two different worlds colliding. It didn't feel like the same world. Like the humans and the kaiju did not feel like they were in the same physical space. If that makes sense.
Hmm.
The only exception is when Godzilla is like fallen and um,
Serizawa,
Serizawa comes in and kind of touches him. I guess that's the only exception because I did feel
Soroba.
like, yeah, I did feel like they were both like in that physical space. Like it was, I guess it was probably my favorite moment in the movie was that one. It did feel very emotional. It felt very much like what I felt when I watched King Kong. Um, but I guess a lot more realistic because King Kong is not a very realistic movie, the first one. Um, but yeah, I did feel that I guess maybe I'm desensitized or maybe it's just so much CGI that it just kind of isn't very unique in my opinion, I guess. I don't know. Um, I really liked the fact that you had. I really liked the subplot of the subplot, or should say, like, I don't know if it's the subplot or the main plot of the humans kind of like deciding whether the kaiju are actually supposed
Friend
to
or foe?
exist. Yeah, exactly. If they are like a force of nature and they should be protected, or if they are a threat to humanity and they should be destroyed. That I really like that argument between the two sides. It made a lot of sense, and I could technically understand why. I mean, even though I felt it was a bit forced. The fact that she decides to release um, Ghidorah into the world without you know
Monster
think
Zero.
Monster Zero,
Hmm.
yeah, without like thinking twice about it. I felt like it was a bit weird. I mean, the situation in which she
Hmm.
was. I mean,
I get it.
sure, she was in a way she was kind of forced to do that because of the other guy that I forgot his name. But um, it was a bit
Oh, you
for
mean
the villain,
yeah, yeah, Tywin Lannister.
Tywin Lannister.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tywin Lannister.
I also don't. Yeah, that's how much attention I've actually paid to the human side of the stories. I don't really remember the.
Yeah, I don't
I
remember
don't
his
even want to
name.
call him villain. He's not really a villain, but
I mean,
whatever. Yeah, I know who you're mentioning.
yeah. I
The
do think.
the human antagonist.
Yeah, yeah. I do think that there were some scenes of the human arc that I thought were kind of unnecessary, like the thing with the daughter kind of like disagreeing with the mother and then like running off and setting off the thing to. What was she doing? She was like attracting Ghidorah or something. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not. Yeah, I did feel like that was a bit. I don't know. It's just.
The plot demanded.
Yeah, I guess the plot demanded it. Um, but yeah, I guess I really liked that part where they go like follow Godzilla and it was really interesting seeing like the interaction between the humans and Godzilla like in that movie. I thought it was very well done. Like that part specifically was very like you felt like this was like a being that could just wipe out humanity like so easily, but chooses not to, and the humans kind of just have to just do whatever he wants because they can't really. Uh,
Do anything about it, yeah.
yeah,
He's unstoppable.
and then that scene where they accidentally almost kill him because humans.
Okay.
That was pretty cool. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I like their design. I think they are close enough, aside from Godzilla, because he obviously looks very different from his original one, especially his head is very different from his head and his hips, very different from the original depiction. He's much
Thick.
fatter. He's thick. He's a thick boy. Um, but yeah, all the other ones they seemed true enough adaptations from the original Japanese costumes.
I gotta
I
be
really
honest.
like them all.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. I really liked Rogan. Wait,
Rodan.
Rodan. He was
I think it's pronounced Rodan, but
Rodan.
I don't know, to be honest.
Yeah, I really liked that one. Like I really liked his design and the fact that he's basically a
He's
giant.
Mexican.
Yeah, the
He's a
fact he's.
giant spicy boy flying.
Yeah, um, true.
You can hear the mariachi band whenever he goes.
And I like Mothra as well.
Yeah, you're biased on moths.
Yeah, I'm biased on moths, so
Hmm. Yeah, Ghidorah looked menacing as ever.
yeah.
Uh,
One thing that I really enjoyed was the fact that because Ghidorah has like three heads, they actually had, I think each of the heads has like a different
a different
personality.
personality. They do.
Yeah,
They're called Ichini San, and San was named Kevin by the production because he's the for some reason he's the dumbest of the heads.
yeah, he's the one that basically the central head is like constantly, uh,
Yeah, the alpha head is
yeah,
constantly like bickering on him to
yeah,
pay attention and stay focused.
yeah. That was
Yeah,
very cool. I like that.
it's pretty cool.
I don't think I've
Um,
ever seen a villain that had three heads. Maybe.
especially not a giant dragon with two tails.
Yeah, exactly. And with
Okay.
electricity breath.
Yeah, those are actually gravity beams.
Gravity beams. What do you mean?
Yes. I don't know, man. That's just I'm don't
Okay.
I don't know what to say here. I'm sorry. They're
Okay, okay.
gravity beams.
Okay, fine, fine.
Something that's also explored. I said I didn't want to go there, but whatever. On the Netflix films, you really have to see them. They're very self-contained. They're like thousands of years in the future, and Godzilla is the size of a no, he's huge, just huge.
Okay.
Look at how they massacred my boy. But they're pretty good for action and stuff. Whatever.
Okay.
Staying on focus. For King of Monsters 2, I don't know, man. I really like the movie. I know they're setting up next is as King. Yeah, uh, Godzilla is now King of the Monsters for real.
Mhm.
He still might need to break some backs to assert his throne. And one of the kaiju that we didn't see, or titans actually, as they're called
King
in
Kong.
the new MonsterVerse, is King Kong. Yeah, that is being set up to be
That would be so awesome, actually.
one battle. No, it is going to happen. I can guarantee you. And the only reason they're not crossing over Godzilla with Pacific Rim is because Uprising did so badly on the box office. Legit, I'm sad. I didn't watch the movie. I really liked the first one.
I didn't
But
watch either.
yeah, I liked the first one. I watched the first one. I liked it. It was good. and I was really hyped because they mentioned that they would eventually do a crossover with Godzilla if Legendary's Godzilla would was any good in the box office, and it did, but that never happened, and they ended up doing King Kong.
Mm-hmm.
There's still a lot of monsters to show up. There's some that appeared in the movie just by name that I'm really interested in seeing. For example, Yamata no Horoshi, which is supposed to be like a Hydra, a seven-headed serpent or whatever, which
Ooh.
is actually one of the bases for the designs of King Ghidorah.
Yeah, I
So it
was
will
I
be
was
interesting.
thinking that.
It will be interesting to see what they've done, what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they showed like a this, what was it called, mammoth
Yeah, it was
or
a.
whatever. It looked like a crossover between a woolly mammoth and a gorilla. It was
Yeah.
very weird. Um, but if you want, you were mentioning that you didn't really like the human side of this movie, and I can understand that. The Americans, they don't really like to do these kinds of things just to show off blood. They're spending money not on writing, but
Yeah,
on
exactly.
visual effects. It's supposed to be a brawl between the biggest monsters you've ever seen, a battle for world domination.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and it's cool to see how Japan is reacting to this because they do love this Godzilla.
Hmm. Okay.
But after 12 years of no Japanese Godzilla,
Mm-hmm.
in 2016, we were graced with Shin Godzilla, which is
Yeah, you watched
uh,
that and you sent
I
me like
did.
screenshots and stuff. I actually watched like the some scenes from that movie. Um,
Mhm.
and I have a couple critiques to do. First of all,
Without even watching the movie.
without even watching the movie, just based on what I saw of the movie of the Godzilla that they have, the design is pretty cool.
It
I'll
is
give you
supposed to
that.
be. Let's go point by point. I'll try to refute each of your points. But yeah, this is not to be refuted. It is supposed to look like the original Godzilla.
Hmm. I
Um,
noticed that. I noticed that.
like a like he has a this can like cancer like skin, like
Hmm.
scar tissue all over his body,
Yeah.
and he had down to the beady eyes that he originally had, the small eyes at the top of his head,
Hmm.
and the
Okay,
hips, the
so
fat hips again.
yeah, I'll give positive points for them actually like grabbing the original design and just making it more advanced and more modern because
Hmm.
that's very cool. I like that. Unfortunately, there are a couple scenes where you clearly see that it's CGI, and it just takes me out of it. Like it's just
Breaks the suspension of disbelief for you.
yeah, because like
Thankfully for me, that's not a thing.
there's a scene where you see like his skin kind of growing or something. I don't even understand. Like you see
He's
him like
mutating.
yeah, you see him mutating, and you see kind
He
of
is
like the
evolving.
yeah you kind of see like the cells like
Hmm.
swirling around. The thing
Like a
is
bubbling
yeah,
thing.
the thing is that just does not look realistic at all. That's not how cells look when they
That's not
multiply.
supposed to, then again. I mean, we're talking science fiction. Don't forget that.
Yeah, but like just what I'm saying is like it does not like
I understand, though. I
it
totally
doesn't look
understand.
realistic. It's
It
not.
looks weird.
It
It does.
doesn't have enough polygons or something. It just the light bounces off all weird. There's almost no ambient occlusion there. It's just I don't know. It's just weird. So a good thing about the design is I think the eyes are really well done. I think that um,
Did you see his first form with the like fish eyes?
yeah, that was weird as hell.
That was weird.
That was just like, what the hell is that? Um,
Gyo.
yeah, I really like the scene where or the fact that he has like this covering of his eyes, like a silver membrane or whatever that he
Like a
pulls.
third eyelid.
Yeah, like he pulls that over his eyes when he's doing the
Atomic
atomic
breathing.
breath. And
Hmm.
that is actually a really interesting and unique design choice because I don't know if the other Godzillas have that. Do you know that if they have that?
Not that I've noticed up till
Yeah,
now.
I
No.
think I think this is probably original. I think they invented this for this movie.
Maybe.
And it's a really interesting touch, and it does make you more believe more in this creature because the eyes are sensitive. They
Hmm.
are sensitive to light, and they have if these are eyes that look anything that are anything remotely close to reptilian eyes or just any sort of real creature, they would need protection. It makes sense. Like from the radiation, you would need to protect your eyes because I guess the rest of his skin is resistant to radiation or something like
Well,
that.
technically, he absorbs radiation.
Technically, it's almost made of radiation, right?
Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much. He feeds on it.
yeah, yeah. But I
No, on
would.
this movie specifically, on Shin Godzilla, he actually feeds on like barrels of
Okay, yeah, yeah. But
uh,
if I was
nuclear
like,
waste.
yeah, if I was like ejecting um cake out of my mouth, I would also want to protect my eyes, because like I don't want cake in my eyes. So it makes
Yeah,
sense that he would protect his eyes from the radiation. Like it totally makes it's totally realistic. And it does make you really like when he covers his eyes, it makes you really like, oh shit, he's gonna do something. Yeah, and then the atomic breath. First of all, it's actually interesting because I don't know if I guess this is another um, interesting take on the atomic breath that I don't think again.
no, this for sure. I'm pretty sure that nothing like this has ever been done.
Okay, so this is an original idea from them. I really really like it. It is just it's a mix like that scene where he does the atomic breath or one of them. I don't know which one, but
Yeah, one is with the first one when he's like focusing the beam at first. Yeah,
so
like all this fireball being
yeah,
concentrated on this
so
small,
basically
precise laser.
if I'm gonna describe to someone who hasn't seen it, it's basically like he opens his jaw. His jaw actually splits in two, like his
Yeah,
lower
his
jaw.
lower jaw
It looks
opens
like
in two.
it looks like something out of the Predator movies.
Yeah, yeah, I
Um,
was gonna say that.
he basically smoke starts coming out of his mouth.
Then fire.
Then the smoke lights up in fire, in flames. The flames just shoot out, and they just like
Destroy
it just keeps
the
like
city.
the flames just keep coming and coming and coming. It's like it just destroys the entire city, and then the flames start getting brighter and brighter, and then you can see that
More
the
focused
actual the energy that that he's emitting from his mouth turns from flames to actual like the literal
plasma or whatever.
radiation laser, or it's just pure radiation, and this is just it's just insane. Like it gives you chills to watch that.
But wait, there's more.
What do you mean there's more?
And then he starts shooting it out of his back and tail.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's another thing.
They come at him with bombs and helicopters and bombers, and he fires this laser out of his back,
Yeah, yeah.
like
It's not just
several of them.
yeah, it's not just
It's
his mouth.
ridiculous.
It's out of every single appendage in his body basically.
Yeah, even the
It's
tip of his tail goes like.
yeah. Um Again, there are some parts where you can kind of the movement is not very realistic again because I think I've seen Corridor Digital. They actually made like they were reviewing the special effects of Pacific Rim, the first one and the second one, and they were actually mentioning something that I think they did not really pay attention in this movie, and that is that the scale of something is really a matter of speed and distance. So, like, there is first of all, you have the speed of sound, which is, I guess, the first barrier that really limits how fast something can move. And if Shin Godzilla was moving at that speed, like in real life, I think his tail would probably break the sound barrier or something like that. I don't know, probably because of just how big it is. It's like a whip. Like
Oh yeah, his tail is supposed to be massive, like almost
Yeah,
in a comedic way.
yeah, and the problem with that is that yeah, it is a bit cartoonish at times, and what they were saying between the first Pacific Rim and the second Pacific Rim, they were saying that in the first Pacific Rim, they actually like the robots and the monsters, they actually moved at a realistic uh, speed because you know the larger something is, the slower it's gonna move in space.
Hmm.
You know, elephants they move really slow because they're big.
Their bodies, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Um,
mean, if we want to talk about it, Godzilla, any of these monsters could not exist. They would, most of them would collapse under their own weight.
that's true, but you know, but just it's for the sake of visuals, you know, it's for the sake of the this immersion, this experience. If something is like truly gigantic, like what Godzilla or yeah, just what Godzilla is, it would need to move really slowly.
Yeah, and it does move at a very snail pace. Like,
Yeah, in some scenes, but in other scenes he's just moving
yeah,
like he turns around and he turns around like way faster than he should, and it just
yeah.
kind of you can like see the laser. Um, I mean, sure, the laser movement I guess is realistic because it would, you know, it's a laser. It would move way faster than anything because it's uh,
Speed of light.
yeah, it's electromagnetic waves or particles or what I don't know.
It's at the speed of light.
Yeah. So yeah, it would move super fast, but his body, his actually appendage, I'm not sure it would move that fast. But then again, I'm not a scientist. I only study physics in a very broad sense. Like I have no PhD in sciences or anything, so this is just kind of my how I see it. So yeah, it has good things and it has bad things. The things that they did right, they did very right. That's
We're still on Shin Godzilla, right?
uh yeah.
Okay, just to be sure. Do you have any other criticism on the movie?
For the movie. I mean, I didn't watch the movie. I only watched some scenes.
Just for those scenes. Okay, so
Yeah.
um, to enlighten you and perhaps anyone who might have not seen Shin Godzilla yet, first of all, go see it. It is a very good movie. It won the equivalent for the Academy Awards, for the American Academy Awards
Hmm.
in Japan. It cleared the board. Okay, it won
Nice.
Picture of the Year, Director of the Year, Best Cinematography, Art Direction, Light, Sound, Film Editing. Uh,
Nice.
it took the cake. Okay, it's very very good.
Very nice.
Again, it's been 12 years since the last Japanese Godzilla movie, and they stopped making these movies because they were failing. People were getting tired of watching these giant beasts fighting it out for really no purpose at all.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened with this Godzilla? This is supposed to be very, very close to the original one. So a monster rampant, and people can pretty much do nothing to stop it and just watch destruction unfold. We mentioned, I don't know if we mentioned this before, but he is a representation of the destructive power of the atomic bomb,
Yeah.
especially the ones that were dropped right on top of Japan.
Exactly. Yeah. It's
He's a monster born out of radiation. Actually, one of the directors of one of the movies, probably the original creator of Godzilla, yeah, the creator of Godzilla, Tomoyuki Tanaka, said that Godzilla is the son of the atomic bomb. He is a nightmare created out of the darkness of the human soul. He is the sacred beast of the apocalypse. He was created
hmm.
by our hubris and by not by our greed, and as long as it persists, he will keep reappearing.
Hmm. Interesting.
So this movie, and with this in mind, they called in um, they called in Hideaki Anno, which is best known for Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Oh.
And this is what I was laughing earlier because I noticed a lot of similarities between the two,
Okay.
between Shin Godzilla and Neon Genesis. So Anno both directed and wrote Godzilla, the Shin Godzilla.
Nice. Okay.
Um, And they even brought the sound guy, the music guy from Neon Genesis to make stuff for Shin Godzilla. They used a lot of the original movie's score and sound effects, like the original Skryonk from Godzilla was used in this movie, and they even used music from Neon Genesis
Oh,
on the
really?
movie. Yes,
Wow.
that's the thing I was laughing about
Okay.
earlier. Is that I knew that I knew the song. I know that I knew the
Yeah,
song that I
you
was hearing.
recognized it, but
I
you
was
weren't sure from
recognizing it.
where.
Yeah, the scenes where they're having meetings and they need to move fast. It's just drums, and I knew this. I know this. I know this. And then I found out that it is from Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Okay, that's nice. That's nice.
So it is supposed to be a very dramatic, emotional representation, and it brings to memory the events of the earthquake um, from 2011, the tsunami, and the
Oh yeah.
consequent meltdown of Fukushima
Mm-hmm.
nuclear power plant. They actually even use some shots, almost shot by shot. It recalls it's supposed to be salt in the wound for the Japanese people.
Okay.
And it's more of a criticism to the Japanese government's inability to respond to a natural disaster more than it is a movie about Godzilla.
Yeah, I saw that
The
it was very political. It
Yeah,
touched a lot of.
definitely.
Yeah.
The movie has like 30 something characters, and you're constantly being bombarded with their names and what they do, and it's all in kanji. You don't understand jack shit. Um, it's insane. There's a lot of things happening.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, it's supposed to be because the Japanese thought that their government was really not on par with what they should have been during the meltdown, and things didn't go very well. So it touched a lot of people, from the ones that only knew Godzilla as the representation of the atomic bomb, the others that knew Godzilla as uh, this destructive force that was just killing monsters left and right, and introduced Godzilla to a new set of a new crowd, a new public.
Yeah. I.
And it did so very, very well. I think as a movie that, even not being a fan and not ever watched any of the other Godzilla movies, I think uh, you should really.
Yeah. I have respect for this movie. I do think they were making something very interesting, and it is an interesting take. It's a lot more dramatic, a lot more emotional than I think other Godzilla movies, even the American Godzilla movies.
It is
Um,
supposed to be again. It's salt in the wounds for the
yeah,
Japanese
yeah.
people. They were feeling it, and it drew parallels between the original one and the new one, and the same kind of strategy if you think about it. Um, like how Godzilla made landfall and like cleared all these boats in front of him, and everything on his path was destroyed. And during the atomic release, the entire town was covered in radiation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
It's like,
It was
what you
tragic.
gonna do now? Like, he's unstoppable, just like a natural disaster.
Yep. It's
Um, that's why
it's
it was so successful, I think.
yeah, yeah. No, I agree. I think that the best thing that humans can do in the face of disasters and things like these forces that they don't understand, is really just personify them, just create stories to explain them, or to just sensitize people, like because I guess this, for people who are not Japanese and watch this, and they're not really like aware because they weren't there. Luckily,
Hmm.
they weren't there to witness the destruction that the event caused. I mean, it really gives you that experience without needing to actually be there, and that, I guess,
Well,
that's the best thing that humans can do, is tell stories.
thank God it was only an earthquake and a tsunami, not an actual giant lizard, right?
Yeah. But then again, maybe it caused as much destruction as the lizard. I don't know.
Well, no, he didn't, because
Debatable.
on the movie, the radiation from Godzilla dissipates in like the isotope has a very short half-life. The town will be clear in like
Oh,
a
okay.
year time or something like that.
Okay, okay.
But again, movie magic.
Yeah.
The people in Japan weren't so lucky.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, now we have two different countries making movies about the same character at the same time, and we have two different perspectives. And you can apply the same logic to the original Godzilla, to the Japanese one, maybe to the American one. And as the Japanese see Godzilla as a symbol for destruction, the Americans are looking at Godzilla as their savior,
To be
much like
honest,
the atomic bomb was
yeah.
during World War II.
Yeah, to be honest, I think that America just loves mass destruction. I mean,
America, fuck yeah.
yeah, they just love mass destruction and violence and explosions, and I think that's basically what really drives them to watch Godzilla movies. I don't think
The
it's the
Second
same.
Amendment. I have the
Yeah.
right to bear a Godzilla.
Yeah, but in my opinion, I think it's really just that. I think Japan probably understands it a lot better than America does. America just likes to see a giant monster.
Well, they
That's
are
my
making,
opinion.
again, Legendary is making great stuff with the new movies for sure.
I mean,
But
yeah.
I was hunkering for a piece of old Godzilla, and I got it in Shin. I mean, I really like the movie. I can't stop talking about it enough. And now we have dogs. I know that there's one, I think as Gigan, that has like hook hands. He has like a visor eye, and he has a chainsaw belly. Like from his neck to his lower abdomen to his nether region, it's a saw. He has a saw.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. He has wait. There's a version where he has chainsaw hands.
Really?
What? And he has like a freaking
Oh, no, is it the drills? No, that's another one.
no. There's a X plus. I'm looking at like action figures. There's an action figure where you have Diamond Mecha Gigan with chainsaw, and it's yeah. What the
It's
heck?
insane. Yeah, most of these were just at a point you have to start thinking that they were just making movies to sell toys,
Yeah.
right?
To be honest, I kind of want to see this in a Hollywood movie. Gigan.
They it will. I don't know if it'll appear. You might have to wait a very long time. They presented a lot of creatures in Godzilla 2.
Yeah, they did.
And I'm not even sure you're going to end up seeing most of them, to be honest.
Yeah, probably not.
You know, I hope so. They had interesting ones in there, even just by names. You know, they all sound very biblical.
Yeah, and this is actually a thing that a lot of Hollywood movies do for some reason is they love to go grab like things from either the Bible or uh, ancient like Egyptian mythology or things like that because
Superman is a Jesus reference.
yeah, exactly. Superman
Yeah, I
is
know what you mean.
Superman is super Jesus. Like I mean,
In no, it's just in Batman v Superman. The analogy is there, but that's the talk for another podcast.
I mean, if you look at the
But in
Watchmen,
when Ghidorah appears, when he's like, is it when he's regenerating? You
I
have
don't
this
know.
shot of him in the volcano, and there's a cross on the right part of the
Oh yeah, I
screen.
remember that. I remember that, and I was thinking like I was there in the movies, and I was thinking this is such a reference to Revelation. I mean, it is
The beast.
basically yeah, it's basically the Book of Revelation. Like that's complete. Yeah,
Yeah.
that cross over
Fire
there.
was falling from the sky, and
Yeah, the
a
the.
three-headed beast with two tails. That's all very biblical. Yeah, I totally agree with you.
I mean, in the Bible, I think it was actually 7 heads, but whatever.
7 heads and 9 tails, or whatever, an odd number of tails
Nine
too. I know.
9 tails.
It
No,
wasn't
that's
9. It wasn't 9, but doesn't matter. It
yeah,
was an odd number of tails too.
yeah, because
They're always very strange.
yeah, But yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I think it's kind of just. I do think it kind of feels a bit weird when movies do that, because it's so cliche. Like it's just everyone's doing that. Like whenever it's a supernatural event, oh, it's always this has been explained in the Bible or in some fucking
Yeah.
some god or some demon. I don't know. It's just, for example, with Bird Box. I think that yeah, with Bird Box is basically um they explain that the monster is like, I mean, some people say it's like a Lovecraftian beast,
Mm-hmm.
um and but then you actually kind of like start figure out that it's basically like the rapture. It's like you look at it and you want to die because you want to go to heaven or something like that. It's just the explanation is a lot less interesting.
Did you see the movie?
uh no, I didn't actually see the movie, but I saw some
Mm.
like theories on it, and it's basically like
Then that might just be a theory,
it might just be a
because
theory.
I did not finish watching the movie,
Hmm.
but I do remember that crazy people. It's not that they were bad people, okay,
Yeah,
but
it's
crazy
interesting. It's
people
interesting because crazy people
could look at the monster.
they looked at the monster, and instead of wanting to die, they kind of just wanted other people to see
Yes,
the
to
monster.
look at them, and they drew them, and they made other people look at them. Don't you see it? It's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, and it's interesting because the drawings that they make are actually like they look like Cthulhu and fucking just
Lovecraftian beasts.
yeah,
Yes, because
exactly.
you cannot comprehend them.
Mm-hmm.
And that might perhaps be the best. I know. I then again, I don't know how the movie ended. I fell asleep halfway through. But I need to watch it. I need to.
Yeah, I
That's
didn't
not
watch
an
it.
indication. I was very, very tired.
Okay, okay.
Um, it's not that I'm a fan of Julia Roberts either, but again,
There's a
it
lot of
it
movies
it
that we
it
should
it,
watch.
it looked like a very good Lovecraftian adaptation. I don't know how the movie ends again,
Mm-hmm.
but the
Yeah.
monsters, the fact that you could not see the monsters, they were literally indescribable.
Yeah, that was pretty Lovecraftian, I would say.
It is Lovecraftian. Is there even a single podcast where we don't mention the master's name?
Uh, no.
It would be a good cue for you to say, but we never talked about Edgar Allan Poe.
Uh, yeah, I completely missed that cue.
You did.
Well, I can edit this and just say we never mentioned Edgar Allan Poe.
Oh, okay. We're
Now,
not friends anymore.
you gotta admit, Edgar Allan Poe is a fucking great
Well,
author.
he taught the math.
Literally, like, yeah, Lovecraft based himself on Edgar Allan Poe's work, so you can't
Just
say.
yeah, just like Lovecraft had a bust of Edgar Allan Poe on his desk, I would like to have a bust of Lovecraft on my desk.
Okay, yeah.